Nah, not to me. I mean, I don't really think it matters that much. I mean, there's a lot of clothing brands and skate brands out there, but I mean, there's always room for somebody to bring something fresh and new to the table. And I mean, I think that's what we got. We got something different. And I mean, it's a big pie out there. We just trying to get a slice, man. That's it.
Well, basically how I came up with the idea was, I was at work, bored, not doing nothing, and when you in an office and you're bored, you ain't doing nothing, you just start, Googling stuff. So I came across this article that was basically talking about how, they started skating empty pools back in 1976. And, it was an interesting article. It kept my attention. I've always been into skating. Not a lot of people know that, but I used to skate a lot when I was young. So the article kept my attention. And basically what it was saying was, there was a point in time in California where there was this major drought. There were these homes with these in-ground pools, and they actually had to empty them out because of the drought. So what the kids did was, while their people were away at work or, out of the area on vacation, while their pools were empty, they would come in and start skating their pools. So as I'm reading, all the letters are basically in plain text. But out of all the letters that was in the plain text, the one part that was different was empty pools. It was actually in bold. And even though I kept reading the article, I kept looking back at the empty pools that was in bold, and it just it got my mind going, and I was thinking, like, has anybody ever had a clothing line called Empty Pools or anything like that? And I'm thinking, like, if they ever did that, that'd be something that'd be hot. You could make that into a skate clothing line or a clothing line, period. The name just just sticks with you. So I kept rolling it through my head, and then I hit Joe on the email, and to see if he was feeling it. Typical Joe, he wasn't feeling it. He told me he was busy at work, stopped wasting his time.
Bill comes to me one day with this idea, and he sends me this email. He's like, Joe, I got this idea. I think we can do something with this. And he was like, yo, it's gonna be called Empty Pools. So he sends me the email, and I looked at it, and I just wasn't really digging it right away. It just didn't make much sense to me. And then Kev was just on it, like, yo, empty pool, like everything was empty pools, this, empty pools, that, like all he kept talking about was empty pools. And once we talked about, what we was trying to do and what his idea was, eventually I got on board with it. So we had these ideas, but nothing was really like clicking for us. So we sketched out a couple other things, sketched out a skater or two, and brought those into the print programs.
Well, me and Joe, we've always been into sneakers, and especially Jordans. Everybody knows the symbol of Jordan, the Jumpman logo. And when it came out, it was such a movement. And even now, all the way up until 2011, it's still a movement. So what we tried to do when we was working on our Empty Pools logo and our brand, we basically want to inculcate that in what we was trying to do. So if you see the Jumpman logo, basically, you don't necessarily have to see any words. It doesn't say Michael Jordan. It doesn't say Jordan. It doesn't say Nike. But you know exactly what it represents. And what we're trying to do is just bring that same vibe, that same movement over into Empty Pools, and what we're trying to do. So that way, when you see the Flipman figure, you know exactly what it is. It represents indie apparel. It represents Empty Pools. So that's why we had to throw that in our main logo, so that way we can feel that same vibe.
And we laid it out like this. The font was real plain, so we went in and distressed it, added the splatters to it and stuff. So initially we were trying to run Life Apparel like that, but it didn't make sense. It just sounded a little funny. And we were like, nah, we got to do this some other way. It's got to be more independent. So part of our motivation, in addition to us just being interested in fashion and clothing and skating and a million different things, is seeing a lot of independent brands come up, in the last 5-10 years, guys that are doing their own thing and not getting that corporate support. You know, they're making it happen themselves, like the Hundreds, you know, Crooks and Castles, Johnny Cupcakes. Like, these guys are really going in and taking the time to perfect their craft and perfect their brand. And so we switched it up, put in the apparel in there. This is one of the initial layouts for the shirts, but as you can see, the text is so huge on the back. Square looked too big, and we felt like it was too much text, and nobody's really going to read the whole back of the t-shirt. So we took our retro logo and then just took the main part of that article and just fit the text around it. It still needs to be edited, but it just gives it a different look. Now the EP is the focus, and the text highlights it. So we got the 76 and we got the empty pools, and it just gives it a better look, and that's going to be part of the new history tee.
You know, the same desire that they had back in 1976, basically to turn nothing, such as an empty pool, into something, such as a movement that they had, is the same motivation that me and Joe got. And you know, like Big said, sky's the limit. And you know, we're gonna keep going. This spring we got a new launch coming, and we're trying to get into some of these stores, and you know, basically we're gonna turn this nothing into something.
That's just what we're trying to achieve here with this Empty Pools project. Is, you know, we're just trying to get our ideas into something tangible. You know, get it from the mind into the hands. And you know, it's rare that people get the opportunity to do what they love or love what they do. Everybody works, you know, 9 to 5s, and you know, probably 80%, 90% of people don't want to be there. So, you know, it's a great opportunity for us, and we're just trying to take it as far as we can and do everything that we possibly can with it.
Let them know what you just bought.
Got that empty pools and all that, you know, and all that.
See the pool boys?
I did.
I skate in my spare time.